getting better for the Kansas City Chiefs this offseason. They locked down their future in Patty Mahomes.
You got Jones, then Kelsey, and Mahomes signed for like half a billion. You got players on your football team buying baseball team.
I'm surrounded by baby toys. Like Patrick Mahomes is surrounded by guys who on offense are some of the best in the league.
Oh no, let the defense go. Let the defense go.
If Patty does what he does, and he has one less guy on offense.
And Kansas City,
Thank you.
Welcome in. It is time for yet another SportsMe Weekly Windup. I'm Derek from the, you may have seen me on the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast, and I'm joined by the one, the only, some may call him a man, some may call him a myth, others will call him a legend, Rum Boys, Robbie. How you doing today?
Doing well. Definitely not a myth because I'm alive here in the flesh. Pinch me, I'm fucking real. Greatly appreciate you guys out there on the SportsMe verse, utilizing the app, getting active here over the past week. A lot has been going on over on the app. We've had a good couple of days. Make sure that you guys download the app. Link is in the description. Also, like, comment, subscribe here on YouTube for plenty of updates happening in the SportsMe verse.
Absolutely. I was like, you were going to say, you were talking about lots of stuff happening. I was like, why did something take place this last weekend? Like, was it a big deal? I
went on there yesterday and I put out this weekend was a big deal, obviously, with the Super Bowl, but I just got to give myself a pat on the back just to what was it, a 4-leg parlay. I had 2 college basketball games. I had two hockey games featured in that, and to be able to hit on that and you guys be able to go on the app for free, download the app and get advice like that and win some shmoney. I like it. I like it. So it's a big deal to me. Yeah,
it's certainly, I had my 5-leg going last night and I would have been better off if I just stuck to a 4-legger. Missed my 5-leg by 1, but you know what? It happens. Them's the breaks, as they say. It's just time for a bounce back. Tonight. So it's time to hit the books and study that a little bit before making some selections tonight there. Absolutely. But, you're right. The Super Bowl did happen. We've got a lot of stuff coming out of Super Bowl weekend there, including a pretty good game going on there as well. But before we get going too crazy in that, a couple of videos, let's hit it up and see what the SportsMe verse had to say.
We know the Super Bowl's this weekend. Give me your picks. Who do you got? Personally, I'm going with the Rams. I think the defense is going to eat up that Bengals O-line. I think they're going to have Burrow running all over the place. My prediction for the game is going to be 34-17 in favor of the Rams.
I'm taking the Bengals to cover.
Bengals plus 4.5. Over. It's going to be over.
Yeah, give me the Rams. They're the best team left.
Bengals to cover, and I think I'm going to take the under.
Yeah, not too shabby there.
What was your favorite moment from Super Bowl 56? Was it the post game? Was it Cooper Kupp getting his MVP award? Was it the national anthem? Was it the halftime show? Anything. What was it? Drop in here.
There was a lot of great moments in the Super Bowl, just like you said, bud.
I'll be honest with you. This wasn't a great Super Bowl. It wasn't a good game. It was a close game.
What would have been the big moment of the game was Cooper Kupp getting a shot to the face and still coming down with the ball, but then there was an offensive penalty there that offset that. So
the final drive, where Stafford and Kupp just making things happen no matter what.
Sean McVay comes over and he hugs Aaron Donald, and they're just happy and they're celebrating because this is what they worked for years and years and years. So that's the most exciting moment for me.
One of the Los Angeles Rams players proposed to his fiance or girlfriend, which became a fiance on the field after the game.
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah, lots of good moments there. But
that was so we had a prediction and we had some greatest moments. So I guess we're gonna break them both down.
Yeah, so obviously, right, the SportsMe verse gave some of their predictions going through there, and then also recap their favorite moments after the game there as well. So just a wide range of topics. They're all centered around the same thing. But Robbie, what I know my favorite moment from the Super Bowl came because of a prediction that I had and a couple of the predictions that I had. But before I start tooting my own horn here, let's hear what your favorite moments were and maybe what some of your predictions were.
My favorite moment overall was hands down the halftime show. Point blank, period. Like I work in football. So like I've seen a lot of like really good football. Like the marriage, music and sports together. Um, in the manner that it was done this year, and the city that it was done this year, how original they kept it, and how true they kept it to that area. Um, that was definitely my favorite part was the halftime show. Um, if I have to pick a moment just from the game itself, so like of the overall event, that was my favorite. Was the halftime show of just the game. Got to be the game winner, like Coach Craig, or I think it was can't remember who said, but just or it was Nate. Stafford and Cup, just as always, getting it done. It would have been nice to see the Bengals win. Uh, get their first one. There's something special to say about winning in your home stadium for the biggest game ever. Period. Brady did it, when he was a Buccaneer. So for Stafford to do it as a Ram and their team, to be hosting, I think that speaks volumes. But as for the scoring predictions, it like I said, what was going to happen was going to happen. Like you want to bet the over, you wanted to bet the over because that's what makes it fun. Like it's a Super Bowl, you want a lot of scoring. At the same time, it's a Super Bowl. Those are the two best teams to make it to the final fucking dance. There may not be a lot of scoring. It's more like going to hit the under. The past, how many Super Bowls have hit the under? We all knew that, yeah, the under was very likely to hit. But it's okay. It's going to happen next year. It's just a betting rule of thumb when you're in those big, huge, colossal games, especially in a sport like football. The under just kind of becomes like you want to bet the over, but the under is always usually the safest bet.
Yes. And certainly if you were listening to me last week, really the 2 weeks leading up to it, you knew that the under, if you had listened to me and I had managed to persuade you to my way of thinking, you knew that the under was coming as far as my thought process was concerned. So, that being the case, my favorite moments from the Super Bowl had very much to do with the fact that some a few parlays that were thrown out there, a few different things that were thrown out there, right? One had a couple of different parlays out there with Rams on the money line, the Bengals to cover, and the under to come in, which automatically gets you some very nice odds boosting going there. Yeah. Hit several of those things, but one of my favorite ones was the fact that I also was telling folks that this is going to be a 24-21, 23-20 type of game. And
you got the exact score, didn't you?
And yeah. I put a couple of them out there for one for the 24-21 and one for the 23-20 realm, and hit the 23-20. So you cannot complain when you get the exact score going. And then several of those other things played out there as far as how I was thinking, who was getting touchdowns, props and everything else that was called out there. So my favorite moment was just simply the standpoint that I managed to call this one pretty spot on going into the game about as far as who I thought would be scoring touchdowns, what the final score would be, and how the situation would come to play on that one. So, I was pretty happy overall with that one. And, but a favorite like individual moment from the game there as well. I think I'm going to have to agree with you is the fact that the halftime show was, in my opinion, the best halftime show that I have ever seen on that one. And the sad thing was, I'm saying that that's the best one that I've ever seen. And at the end of it, like my wife and I looked at each other after watching that thing and went, you know what? Like they left so many of their potential songs that they could have done that were hits that was spectacular, but there was room for even improvement on the spectacular that we saw. So like that was one of the things that blew my mind when I sat there and I really started thinking about that and realized just how good that was, and even the potential for more that there could have been.
Yeah, if there had not had to be a second half of a game to be played, they could have kept with that for like at least another extra 10, 15 minutes, another 10 minutes. Like for real, I felt like, hey, that halftime performance could have been a little bit longer. When you put 5 artists together, there's got to be a way to showcase them all. They did the best they could. Dr. Dre's an amazing producer, and he directed the whole thing. Just wow, like that. Gotta have respect for the way the production was put together, and it was what 7 million of his own money put together to throw it. So hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely spectacular. Yeah, Robbie, the Rams certainly did some celebrating after the big game this weekend, but they weren't the only ones celebrating. You actually beat them to the punch on by about a day when it came through it, and a very interesting video coming across here on that one. And I'm just going to let the video speak for itself at this point.
Awesome, baby. UFC 271 shoeys all around with some of that blue.
No doubt about it. But Tai Tuivasa was a monumental win.
Tua Taivasa won his UFC match. I gotta do what I gotta do, you know? Could I put the beer like this? I could, but I wouldn't be honorary in honor of his name. Chewy. 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 Chewy.
Well, that's all I can say is good for you guys. I'm not drinking out of my own shoe, though.
Hey, anytime Tui Taivasa gets a win in UFC, I will drink out of a shoe any and every time. That man has not. There hasn't been a single time where he has not came through for me on the betting lines. Yeah, as long as they keep putting Tui Taivasa as an underdog, which they have to because of his fighting style. You know, he pretty much got always put him as an underdog. We had a really great weekend. You know, like I said, UFC 271, Super Bowl. You know, just those two events. The Shoey, an incredible honorary event to be able to take part in. Very disgusting. If you guys check out the Super Bowl pregame show that was on 32-bit and Rum Boys, I made Taco do a shoey as well. And he did it out of an old Converse. It's pretty fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And he did a full beer. Yeah, it was disgusting. So yeah, like the shoey's a new fad. I respect it. It's not as bad as you would have thought. Like it's not as bad. Like it tastes nasty. Like once you get through with it, you feel kind of like a badass. You're like, all right, yeah, like drinking my own fucking nasty ass shoe. Yeah. It's disgusting.
Yep. Hard pass for me, but more power to you. You know, a little extra toe jam flavoring on that beer. I mean, more power to you.
Suddenly became an IPA.
Oh, but yeah, like you know, that just kind of goes to show you know, some of the diverse things that you can talk about and you can interact with and you can see on the app, and certainly one of those things that you don't want to be missing out on. Yeah.
Really quick, that the way that I had the whole UFC 271 filter over my SportsMe, I had originally recorded that on my Snapchat, so you can take videos as long as they're within 30 seconds. You can take videos from your Instagram, your Snapchat, your Twitter, your Facebook, or whatever, and you can upload them over onto the SportsMe app as well. You guys don't have to do a SportsMe like right there and that. Like you can, if you have a clip that you know you have recorded, like you forgot it or whatever, like you could just upload it. You know, you got a highlight reel of a massive play that you want to share. You can do it. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the beautiful things about one of the latest updates that have come to the app as well is that feature on there, and there's lots more features that the team is working on to add to that to even enhance the experience even more. So, great point there, love it. Let's go ahead and head on over into another topic. We're going to shift some gears here. You know, it's hard to top somebody drinking beer out of a shoe, but we're going to try and hit it up with a fun little topic, and one that got a lot of people chiming in here. Let's go ahead and watch this one.
Russell Westbrook is a $44 million liability for the Los Angeles Lakers. This dude is getting outplayed by Malik Monk on a veteran minimum contract.
As a talent, Russell Westbrook is fine. My My issue is the mentality piece.
Can he get back to MVP levels? No.
Russell Westbrook is a former MVP that can make one or two micro adjustments and become next to what he was or close to it.
Roy, did you just say, but what if Westbrook changes? That's what I heard you talk about. But what if Westbrook just changes a couple of things?
Possibly making those changes is a lot easier of a fix than it would be to bring in a free agent or a trade deadline deal.
You're telling me it's more likely that Westbrook is going to change how he plays basketball than they could go acquire someone to stand in a corner, shoot a three every once in a while, and play some defense?
If Russ doesn't play better, the Lakers are not going to make the playoffs.
Every team that's been a disappointment with Russell Westbrook.
Every team has been a disappointment with Russell Westbrook. Every team has always been a day late and $1 short. Every team. Point blank period.
Yeah, I mean, and just because you put up terrific stats does not necessarily translate to wins on the court. And even if
being a team player,
well, there's a lot to it, right? Like this is basketball is one of those is one of the few sports out there that in a team environment you can get away with, and there's more forgiveness on an outcome of a game. If one player tends to dominate that and you don't necessarily have great teamwork, you can still win a lot of games there. Unlike a lot of other sports, right? Like in the NFL, we've seen it that just because you put up fantastic stats does not mean that you're going to win the game.
No.
Oftentimes may mean the opposite there. Same thing too with baseball, hockey, some of those things, right? Like basketball is a little bit more forgiving in that sense, but at the same time, you've got to be able to play as a unit, play together and go out there and do it. And there's prime examples of that, like the Detroit Pistons that won the title with Chauncey Billups. I believe that was back in like 04.
04, yeah.
Yeah, they were not stacked with superstar talent on that roster. They had good players, and they played probably some of the best team basketball that we've seen in a long time in the NBA. It very much broke the mold from what we see today, where in order to win the championship, you've got to have a big three assembled to go out there and do it. Because if one guy has an off night, well, the other ones can step up and pick it up and vice versa. If that was a team that you could, they were a deep bench and they actually played as a unit instead of playing like a bunch of individual players that, played well enough together to make an outcome happen.
To win the game. Exactly. Westbrook, even when I posted this on Twitter, I got a lot of backlash where people were like we think that you're being a little bit rough on Russell Westbrook. I'm like, actually no, I kind of don't. I don't think I am. Like I said, a day late and $1 short. In regards to Russell Westbrook, every team he has been on, he has been a detriment to, and now you're being a detriment to the Los Angeles Lakers, a team that thrives off of winning. You are literally playing alongside, when healthy, some of the best players in the league, and you can't adjust your game enough to be able to get a ring. You have been moved from place to place, team to team, and almost got moved again this year. And you're what, a $44 million player, 45 some odd like that.
You're on a max contract type of guy.
Like, no, you got to change your playing style, bro. This is about championships. This is about rings. It's not about you getting your stats. This isn't about I just want to make sure I'm a Hall of Fame caliber type player, bro. It doesn't matter if you don't fucking get the hardware. You could do all this scoring in the world, but if you're not a team player, if you can't step aside to play as a team, adjust your game to play as a team, then it doesn't matter. All the triple doubles and everything doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of those that we see these teams kind of come together and form and all of that, and they make these big moves to bring a couple of these superstars together. And there's been a lot of times that I've looked over the past, and my first reaction to that is, well, are they going to be able to play the game with two basketballs on the court at the same time?
Yeah, there's one fucking ball.
That's the problem is there's not enough there, there's not enough of the ball to go around in a lot of these situations, and we see these teams not be successful because of that. And unfortunately, I think that's where we're kind of at in the career arch of one Mr. Russell Westbrook, is that unless we see some drastic changes, I don't know that it's going to change for him as far as an outcome goes. But that is that's one of those that we're just gonna have to see what that looks like going forward. But I don't
Yeah.
see it changing either. It's gonna take something drastic to happen where, and at this point, I don't know that, in the past you always make the argument of, oh, well, he's the best player on the team and the team needs to follow his lead and some of that. And I don't know that you can make that argument at all this year.
I don't think
And
he's the best player on the team.
no,
I don't think he's the best player on any team that he's been on. I think that, like I said, the key word is liability. Is he a good player? Yes. A liability, 100%. Yes. When anywhere you go, you take a team that much further away from a championship, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Problem.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So lots of, that's one of the beautiful things too right now is as the NFL season has kind of started gearing down here, we are seeing a ton more NBA content. We're seeing a ton more hockey content, a ton more college basketball content on the app. And there's lots of really good conversations going around that. I know that there's been several topics of conversation around the NBA, such as this with is Russ a liability, all of that, and lots of really fun conversations. So if you're an NBA fan, I know that we've highlighted the NFL a lot and football a lot over the last couple of weeks here on the show, but a lot of that was the climax and the peak of what we were going to see out of the season there. And now the app has definitely shifted gears into some of these other sports, and it's fun to see a lot of these topics going through there. So definitely one that you don't want to mess around and miss. But I do have one more football topic for us here real quick. And this one, interesting is how we'll frame
Sean
this.
McVay. He just became the youngest coach to ever win the Super Bowl, beat Mike Tomlin out by a couple months. There are rumors that he could step away from coaching in the near future.
Oh, he's stepping away.
Sean McVay walks away after being the youngest head coach to ever win a Super Bowl, walks away to focus on family, focus on other things. How is that now next, John Madden?
Having won this early, he'll want to build a legacy in coaching, so he'll be back. I think it's ridiculous that people think he's going to step away. There's no chance.
Of course he wants to step away. They have no draft picks.
Fuck. Oh, that was so savage. Well, when you put it that way, no. I'm gonna be real. Does he need to step away? No, because of his age, right? Like his age allows him, and in that type of like in that job, coaching is a very stressful job too.
Yeah. But it is a cruel mistress as well, right? Like you look at the lifespan of a head coach, it's generally not very long.
No.
Really isn't, right? Like there's a few examples out there of coaches that run the distance on that, but if you're an NFL head coach, the likelihood that you're going to be able to make it to retirement age and retire and as an NFL head coach is slim and none in most cases, right? Like we obviously have some different examples of that with Bill Belichick with the Patriots, but keep in mind, Belichick was fired by the Browns back in the day as their head coach,
very,
right?
very, very true. Very true.
You look at Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's been one of the exceptions out there where he's been a head coach for forever. And keep in mind, he was about the same age that Sean McVay is when he won his Super Bowl title. It was just a few months older and has not won another one yet. So just because you win one early, it also isn't guaranteed either. Same thing with this game being one that it will chew you up, spit you out. And the league is always seeming to look for the next big thing, next young head coach phenom to try and come in there. And so it can be a difficult road to hoe.
Yeah, I hear with McVay, the way that the storyline would be beneficial. You step away, right? You retire. And in reality, you didn't really fucking retire. In reality, you're just taking a year off so that the league goes in fucking disarray in terms of in regards to like head coaches. And are like, yo, we need to bring back this white genius. How much money do we pay him? And then you end up with a couple, hefty paycheck. I think that's what McVay may possibly could be doing. Now, if I am wrong, which I honestly hope that I'm wrong about this, hopefully he sticks around and coaches. He's exciting. He makes the game exciting. They don't need draft picks. They're the Rams. They're fine.
Right. I mean, they certainly have proven the philosophy that you don't necessarily need to hit on those draft picks.
Yeah.
Draft picks oftentimes, especially, even first round draft picks oftentimes are a 50-50 guess on whether or not that draft pick is really truly going to hit and live up to the draft capital you spent on them. But if you can go out and get a crafty veteran for that draft pick that you would have spent, and you get 2 to 3 years out of him anyway, shoot, or even a season or two out of him. More often than not, that's what you were getting for these, first round picks that you do that end up busting on you. So, there's the analytical side of it is not that crazy to think about the way that they're going about assembling that team. And especially for the Rams, who have had a pretty decent record of having 4th, 5th, 6th rounders hit for them over the last few years. If you can take those discounts, you get guys to hit on it late. You don't necessarily need those first round picks, especially if you're getting those crafty veterans to come in and really showcase what you can do. And it takes you to the promised land, right? Like that's what every team's going out there to strive to win and do, is to win a championship. Mission accomplished. And yeah, there's a lot of teams out there that go, wait, I could have gotten a championship if I'd given up, some first this year, first next year, and a second next, and crafted that thing there. So they really didn't lose much as far as giving up those draft picks, and the way that team's still assembled and the way that they're going to be able to compete going forward.
No, I agree. I agree. With this situation, I feel like if you're a Rams fan, it fucking blows, right? To have to sleep on this for the next couple of weeks. I think that they're gonna run it back. I think they'll try and run it back. To be honest, to keep it real with you guys. So I don't think the Rams fans have too much to worry about. But let's say the other thing happens. If you're a football purist, you just kind of gotta respect his decision either way. Like, live in LA, you made the money, you got the ring, you coached your ass off for years. You could go work up in a booth because Troy Aikman's now going over to Amazon or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And then who doesn't work for Amazon at this point, right? I'm kidding. But like all things considered, like if you're a purist, hell, he doesn't have to deal with the stress of coaching or things like that. You just kind of got to respect and you got to support him.
True. Although at the same time, this is not an angle that I've seen everybody else take, really. So, but it's one that definitely has been percolating in my mind here. And so, looking at this, right, an interesting thought. We saw heavily reported going into the weekend that this was one that both McVay and Taylor were looking at potentially getting extensions on their contracts and getting extensions on
Taylor
their
got his
deals.
extension, yeah.
He did. Now, we've seen this multiple times play out in the past where players, coaches use the leverage that they have to try and get bigger deals, things like that on there. Tell me that this couldn't be a negotiating tactic there as well. As, hey, like I'm the youngest head coach to ever win a Super Bowl. You're going to just bring out back the bag on up here, put it in a big old Brinks truck and just back that bag up to my house here. And tell me that that's not a very effective and useful negotiating tactic when you sit down in there, because if it's, hey, like just putting it out there, this is on the table. If I could easily step away from the game and come back and still be one of the youngest coaches in the league.
No, and I am in complete and total agreement with you. that's what makes this so interesting. I feel like there's also a degree where he doesn't have to do that. He's got the respect of that organization up to where like they'll just be straight up with him. They'll just do straight up business and be like, "Yo, we're gonna hook you up. We're just gonna extend you."
Right.
I think it compels uh it compels the Rams to keep McVay. I'm also a McVay fan, so obviously my take is going to be partial. So there's that as well. But yeah,
Right.
man, I hope that McVay stays. But the McVay fan in me is going to respect whatever the fuck he does, But I hope that he stays. I hope that he stays. He makes the game exciting. Like just the football fan in me, just football alone, like to be selfish. And yeah, he makes it fun to view. He calls great plays. He gets players, to work together and to come to his team. Great at free agency. Great at navigating around that whole draft pick scenario. So yeah. I mean, the football peers or football fan of me wants him to stay, but to just support him. Hopefully, he does whatever, dude.
Well, you think about too, like he's not only is he a good football mind, he's obviously good at developing the coaching staff and the talent around him as well. This is the second year in a row that we've seen one of his coordinators go out and get a head coaching job, and a coordinator that had been bumped up to a coordinator shortly before. So, it's one of those that definitely kind of gets people on the hot ticket there and gets them moving off to go and accomplish those dreams there as well. So kind of a cool little side note there as well. But Robbie, I do think that that's going to take us down here about to the end of it. Any final thoughts out there for the viewers and listeners?
Yeah, actually a couple. Download the app. Download the SportsMe. Join the SportsMe verse. Link is in the description of this here video here on our YouTube channel. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tonight, really, really solid, competitive NHL odds. Really, really solid NHL action going down tonight. I suggest you guys check that out. That Calgary Anaheim game is actually, you can view it like if you're out and about on the go or whatever, you can view that one through the DraftKings app and live bet that one as well. But some really solid action tonight. Minnesota Wild and Winnipeg Jets have been two huge betting favorites this year. Those two are going up against each other. You got Panthers versus Hurricanes up against each other tonight. Like Jack Eichel's coming back this time as a Vegas Golden Knight up against Colorado Avalanche. That greatly sways that money line for Vegas tonight. I'm sorry. I know that you're an Avalanche fan, Derek. I apologize. But
okay, I'm still mad at him for that Dallas fiasco last night.
But yeah, I know. So yeah, there's a lot of really, really good puck out there tonight. A lot of really good betting action. It's been a hot minute since I've gotten a pick wrong. I think the last pick that I got wrong between the whole entire NFL playoffs and between the whole entire UFC 271, like everything, it was the Brunson fight was the last pick that I got wrong. And that's been like I've gotten like one pick wrong in weeks. So guys, get out there. There's money to be made. There's fun to be had. All right. And that's what I want to end the show with.
He's on a heater. That's what I heard. So that's awesome. We're going to go ahead and call that a day and call that a show. Guys, again, make sure that you're downloading the SportsMe app. You can find it on the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, called SportsMe. You can also see it spelled out right up above here. And you can also go to getsportsme.com, download the app that way. He's Rum Boys Robbie. I'm Derek from the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. Have a good one. Be safe.
Yeah.